Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to your full moon reading for today, December 29th. Or I guess December 30th if you're in the southern hemisphere. Normally I have these readings posted in advance, but partially with the holidays and all of that, partially from moving into a new apartment, and partially from the desire to do one of my Transmission Tuesdays as a reading, has brought these elements together. And so this reading is available only to the Facebook group for now, and then later on I will release it to YouTube and to Instagram and to the other people who usually get to see it. So I hope this is a helpful reading, and if you are tuning in live or if you happen to click on this video while I'm recording this, then give me a wave, say hi, feel free to ask any questions. And for those who are going to be watching the replay or watching the recording of this, I will be doing my regular 4-card reading. So primary energy first, the general energy of what's going on for this lunar cycle as we wrap up the year or the calendar year. Then I'll do a shadow energy underneath, the energies that are present with us but may not be able to be seen that easily. And then I'll do our pathway read, our energy on top that's keeping us stuck, whether it's in a relationship, like an issue with a relationship, or whether it's career related or personal development related, or anything that you feel you kind of have a jam in your life right now, or it's kind of cloudy. And then underneath will be the path, which will be the energy that you can embody to help yourself move through that space or into a new space and free yourself up. So let's get started. As always, if you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear feedback. Feel free to share this with anyone who you think it might help. And feel free to check out the other videos if you're on YouTube. I have a lot that aren't readings specifically, that are also meditations or tips for anxiety and those kinds of things as well. Okay. I'll pull our pathway read, but I won't flip it over. Okay, so our primary card for our primary energy is the beautiful, beautiful shapeshifter. The text underneath says, transform and unveil your gifts. And the energy that's coming from this card is that as we wrap up this year, where can you take stock of the parts of yourself that you believe to be true? You know, if you were to write down facts about yourself or beliefs about yourself of, my name is this, I do this for work, these are the things that I like, these are the places I like to go. Can you spend some time and question those? Or maybe see if you can kind of, lift those beliefs up a little bit and see if there's potential for anything else underneath. Or maybe there's something else already growing underneath and you haven't necessarily given yourself the opportunity to watch that possibility grow or see that possibility grow. So I'm just going to move right in front of the window, and there are a lot of cars going by and I'm feeling a little distracted, so I'm just going to move our reading over a little so that I can focus on you. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so where in your beliefs can you sort of lift them up and say, is this still true for me, or is it kind of coming unrooted? And as we wrap up this year and we move into, the power of the energetics of 2020 is over and we're moving into 2021, just the phenomenon of that collective belief is so strong. and leaves so much opportunity for new avenues and beliefs to become present with you and to move themselves into your awareness. So have you ever questioned, that maybe you don't have to be the definition that you've given yourself right now? And is there a part of you that, especially with people who get caught in the time construct, which is almost all of us, is there a part of you that's really started to identify with, this is what I do for work, this is what I do in my spare time, these are the things that I like, and you kind of feel like you've filled your shopping cart of your personal identity and you don't have any space for anything else? Can you give yourself that space to question, maybe I have more layers to me, and maybe I have more versions of myself I haven't discovered yet? And just allow that question to be what percolates with you as we move through this full moon that's today and move into the new year at the end of the week. Okay. This is our shadow card. And this one's kind of going to be a collective message. And for those of you who follow any sort of energetic teachers on YouTube or sort of have your own people that you follow, this is going to sound a bit redundant, but it really is a strong collective message right now, which is, we moved through this, we're afraid because we don't know what's happening. And we moved through this, we only can go one day at a time because we don't know what restrictions are going to be like or what pandemic things are going to change. We don't know those things, but things are starting to slow down. And now we've sort of got this, okay, I've cleared out all of these weeds in my garden and I've tilled all of the soil, and now what? And there's this sort of collective fear of, I don't know what I'm going towards, or I don't know what is going to be, not only I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I don't know what I need to do for myself or what my relationships are going to look like. And it does feel like everything is sort of changing. And the messages that my guides are channeling through, and that repetitive sort of mantra that you can tell yourself as we move forwards, is, what is the one next right step? What's the next right thing? There is, for those of you who have kids, or for those of you who have your inner child sort of alive and bubbling, there's a song in the second Frozen movie that's called The Next Right Thing. And really this sort of shadow energy of, I'm scared, I don't know what we're going to do, or I don't know what I'm going to do, or I don't know if I should go back to school, or if I should change careers, or what this is going to look like. I don't feel happy. Really focusing on the one next step, the one next thing, even as small down to your day. What can I don't feel happy right now. Can I do one thing that makes me happy right now? And that'll bring me into the next block of, okay, I did that one thing that makes me happy. Can I do one thing that makes me feel more organized or more balanced or healthy or whatever? And really keeping it down to, the carrot and the donkey, and just seeing what's in front of you and taking that one step at a time. And all of that in mind, just keeping the awareness that this energy of fear and of, I don't know what we're going to do, is a collective thing. And if anyone has ever been in a stadium or been to a concert or whatever, and when the crowd starts to rise and to really talk then, or cheer, it's really overwhelming and it's really infectious. So when we have a collective feeling of we're in the unknown, it can be a lot harder to remember that you as the individual is just working at one step at a time. So if you get caught in that current, or you get caught in that sort of big thinking of, I don't know what I'm going to do, just keep in mind that this is a big swell of people, a big swell of energy that feels this way. You're not alone, but it also doesn't have to be the radio station that you tune into all the time. And let's do our pathway read. Okay, so this is what it looks like for our pathway read. So we've got our little bunny here as our block on top, and then we've got our beautiful stag down below. So I'm just going to tune into our block energy here on top. Okay. And again, I think for some of you who, like, the funny theme about 2020 or the second half of 2020 is has been a lot of redundancy of, you know, you want to move forwards and we're being told the same things over and over again, and it's kind of like keep waiting or keep working on things or keep being patient. And this block that's coming up for our full moon is about wanting to see the fruits of our labor now. You know, maybe 3 months ago or 6 months ago, you made a change in your life and you're ready to see the results now. Or maybe you are somebody who's worked with the law of attraction or who's worked with manifestation, and you're ready to have those things come into your life. And the simple fact of the matter is that right now, the world is not moving as it is usually. You know, we have been on a certain track for a long time, and we're in the process of breaking down those barriers and breaking down those systems so that we can begin to build and create something that works better for us as humanity. Which means that you might have been a pro at manifestation, or you might have been excellent at putting something in line and then shooting for it and it landing. And right now, time is more of a construct than it ever was, because the expectation of something coming to fruition in that sort of expected time frame that you had planted it from or are waiting for it to grow, it's just not going to happen like that right now. So part of that, and part of sort of resolving that expectation of things just happening for you, yes, it's good to have patience. It's important to be patient with yourself. But the other aspect of that is keeping this aspect of joy in your world. So let's use the example of fitness, and you're used to, you know, doing something for a certain amount of months and you're expecting to see that fitness sort of change, but the gyms have been closed or whatever, and it's not happening in the way that you had expected. Where can you bring the fun into that journey? Where can you bring the joy into that journey? Or if you're trying to get something off the ground, or if you're trying to work on changing a relationship, where can you bring the days that are just about fun and enjoyment and aren't about deeper progress or aren't about the bigger growth, and they're just about the sun and the enjoyment and the laughter within those moments? Because that is what's going to get us through and going to give us that perseverance to keep going, even though it's going to take us a lot longer than we had expected. So that's our block, and this is our beautiful path. And the image that I'm getting for this one, it's a bit unusual from the card, but the image that my guides are showing me is, you know, that sort of quintessential scene that we all know, either from Bambi or from sort of popular images of sort of deer in the woods, and we see this deer grazing in a quiet meadow and there's nothing around, and all of a sudden a twig snaps and its head snaps up, and it's for a moment very, very intently focused and very tuned into everything that's going around it. And then when it realizes that maybe it was nothing or it's safe, and it goes back to grazing, and it's it's really not preoccupied with anything else that's going on around it. You know, unless that stag or that doe is in immediate danger, they're kind of just doing their own thing all the time. You know, the life cycle of a deer is not the same as the life cycle as a salmon, is not the same as the life cycle of the bear. These animals are all respective in their own right, and they do their own thing and they fulfill their own path consistently. And because they consistently fulfill their own path, it creates a harmonious cycle in nature. So, the energy that I'm getting for the path for this card is that, again, as easy as it is and as justified as it is to fall into collective thinking right now of, you know, I'm even hearing it on like radio advertisements and all these things about how 2020 was an impossible year and blah blah blah. There's, of course, there's all these justifications to talk about the challenges of what we're going through right now, but what would happen if you just focused on what you want to be doing and what your path is asking you to do? And yeah, there are going to be moments where, you know, the collective twig snaps and your head snaps up and you tune into everything around you. That's important for your survival. But all in all, can you stay in the bliss of your own meadow and your own grazing and kind of delightfully not ignore, but remain focused on your story and your path and your journey as the stag or the doe, and allow everything else to exist around you, knowing that it's going to take care of itself as nature does. So that is all I have for you today. Bit more of a collective feel. Sorry about the distraction there at the beginning, but I wanted to be able to give you a really clear reading, and I am learning out the new weaves and bobs of this new space for healing and for readings. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if you're on Facebook and you're part of the Matrix, thank you so much for being in this group and for giving me your feedback and for being part of something bigger and for being part of a group of people that have belief in their pockets and in their bags as they walk through their lives. And I am wishing you a really beautiful full moon, and I'm also wishing you a really beautiful turn of the year, because I have a feeling that it's going to bring, even this next week, that last sort of potent change. It's going to bring a lot of beautiful skin shedding for a lot of people, and I think we're going to find ourselves a lot more transformed from the inside out than we had imagined possible. So much love to you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.